Good morning! What day are we on, stylists? It is Tuesday. I had to put on a filter. I have to admit, I am so exhausted. I wonder how all of you are feeling. Just wanted to wait for my partner in crime, Isabel Kershaw, to join me as the leaders of the Glam Hive Style Academy. We always do these Q&As each week, and we want to provide the support and answer questions that you guys might have in this amazing field that we work in. So please put in the chat if you have any questions. We're about to head into 2023, and we want to be there for you to make it the best year ever, or up until this point. All right, Isabel, where are you? Okay, she is requesting. Guys, so good to see everybody joining us this morning. Let's see where Miss Isabel is. Oh, there she is. She's looking so glamorous.
It's just a bit of a lippy. And there we go, all styled up. And the good old earrings.
Oh, you look fab. I am, on the other hand, flatlining. I was up to like 1 a.m. trying to finish.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's when you're trying to get all those deadlines done just to try and have that little bit of a break, and they kind of I know exactly what you mean. I've been tapping away, answering emails, and just so that we can relax a little bit over the Christmas period, as much as we love our jobs.
I go through twice a year. When I come to you in the summer and in December time, I'm just trying to finish up, close all the jobs. I see Brenda's joining us. Hi, Miss Brenda. So just a reminder to everyone who's joining us this morning, type up in the chat what you would like Isabel and I, as your veteran. We're very young at heart, you know.
But I am.
Your veteran stylist would like to answer any questions that you might have as you go into 2023. We are the creators of the Glam Hive Style Academy Elite Personal Styling course, where you will learn to be an elite stylist within 10 weeks. You learn all of our industry hacks, tools, skills. You go from zero to hero in 10 weeks.
You do. I have to say, I have to admit, having trained people for many years, I think our course is unique. Obviously, we've got that LA, London mix, that sort of real global feel of European style versus the US and everywhere. But also we don't conveyor belt our students. We don't promise you things that you're not actually going to achieve. We really do look after our students, and we give you proper professional training to get you to where you want to be. And we've got so many, it's very successful stylists who've been on our course. I've seen loads of them with their Instagram feeds and reels just looking absolutely amazing out there right now. So we're very proud.
Super proud. And we just had a graduating group, and the one stylist I was so proud of, she started with 3 jobs trying to pay all her bills, and at the end of the 10 weeks she was down to 1 job and her business that she was getting off the ground. So that is a testament to you start to pick up work within the 10 weeks because you become so focused and so skilled. And we've heard that over and over again. Didn't we have another stylist who made the money, covered the cost of the course within the 10 weeks?
Absolutely. And I think I think success attracts success. I think if you are out there feeling successful and confident, I think you attract people more than when you don't really know what you're doing and you're winging it. And I think a lot of people do call themselves stylists when they haven't had proper education. And I don't mean the formatical image consultancy education. I mean proper fashion industry training. And I harp on about that so much. But why make all these mistakes trying to work it out yourself for years and years, where you can go on a proper true course and learn how to do it and not make those mistakes. I mean, we have made mistakes in the past. I mean, as I say, I started styling when there weren't really stylists around, the fashion stylists, but not personal. And I think we allow our students to blossom in their own right within our course, rather than you just spoon feed them and they all say the same thing when they come out at the end.
Yeah, that's so true. DN Style will answer your question in a second. I see we have a lot of makeup artists too who have joined, and I want to encourage you guys to stay in and listen to the chat, because I think our field is a little bit symbiotic, not a little bit, a lot symbiotic, and it's very similar. It's just a different method, really, but we're all creatives and we're entrepreneurs. So I think there's a lot of synergy, not synergy, but Isabel, help my brain, overlap in skills and technique of marketing and acquiring clients. Speaking of mistakes, what would you say is what would be your like one mistake that you would like to share to help others? I'm going to try to think of mine too.
Yeah.
Oh, I know one. Because it was a recent disaster.
Okay,
do you want me to go first? So I didn't put. I shared this with our last session because we all make mistakes, but it had been a while since I made such a big mistake, and I had a really big client, and I was too busy, and when you get overwhelmed, which might lean into DNN Styles question, and you lose focus of what your client needs and what your client is asking for. And there's a big difference to what your client asks for and what she really needs. And we always say to our students, give your client what they need, but give your client what they ask for, but teach them what they need, right? So I wasn't really in that mindset, and I was just, she said, I want this, and I just did that without actually focusing. As a stylist, I know that I knew better, and I did a big giant pull only for her to call me and say, listen, nothing worked. And that's really like a disaster in the stylist world. And not only that, but it had made her feel worse about her body because she started to blame herself. And so someone who has a real focus, and I try to help all my clients to really love who they are and what they have and appreciate their bodies. And that was like a major fail for me. So that was a big lesson learned. Calm down, regroup, and go back to the drawing board. So sometimes, yes, we scale and we grow and it's awesome, but that's the part where you got to be careful when hiring interns and assistants, is you've got to decide, what you're going to give them, but you can't lose that relationship with your client, and you can't stop listening and reading between the lines, right? Because then you will botch up the jobs and you won't get your clients.
But I also think that even if you feel that you have made a mistake or it hasn't worked out perfectly, it's how you manage that then with the client, and you go back and say, let's just go back to the drawing board. And I'm sure it worked out perfectly in the end. And I think it's sometimes when you do come across a challenge like that and it doesn't quite work out, that's how you manage it, that creates an even better client service.
Totally. And that's exactly what I did. I couldn't pretend that I hadn't dropped the ball, right? I could not pretend that. And I think when we are transparent and we're really honest, I believe it actually shows our level of professionalism, and say, you know what, I completely missed the mark. I apologize. And I then went and did a repool. I didn't charge the client for the additional hours because that was my mistake. And in the end, it worked wonderfully. And she even signed up for a quarterly package. So it's always about the attitude, right? Yes, we all make mistakes. So botch up, say I did it, apologize, and then really come back.
I think sometimes when you've been doing it for so long, you don't expect something like that to happen, but it makes you just go sit up and go, right, okay, I've got to make sure that I stay on the ball, as you say. It reminds me of a time when, and it wasn't necessarily a mistake, but I think it's the mistake of the service I was trying to provide. One was where I used to style two people together, So I do one in the morning, one in the afternoon. A huge amount of work because you have to down tools and rethink and then get into the mindset of your second client for the afternoon. But what's even worse than that, so I say only style one client in the day. If don't do 2 for 1 kind of thing. Absolute mistake. Because I couldn't sit down and relate to the client at lunchtime. I was like, you two sit there, have a lovely lunchtime off to, pre-prep for the next person. And it was like, ah! But
Right.
also when you have friends coming with friends or sisters coming with sisters, isn't
Disaster.
it?
Husbands,
Yes.
husbands of wives. No, no.
It takes longer. You get the distraction. You get one friend slightly envious of the other, going, no, I don't like that on you. I had 2 friends where the one friend said, well, I want to buy that and she looks great in it and I want to buy it, but you've put it on her first and that's not fair. And so they both kind of bought the same lot together because one friend was a little bit wanting to be the other, looking exactly like the other friend. So yes, stick to one client per day because it's not shopping. When you get into the mindset of your client, you have to think and live and breathe them. Yeah. So sting round.
Yeah, that's that's such a great tip. If I in fact, I just had an inquiry with a gentleman who wanted to buy a style. Here's another caution: a styling package for his wife for Christmas. She has just had a double mastectomy and is feeling really down. And so, one of the lessons I learned is not to. I've once been asked to do a gift certificate for somebody, but if it's almost like therapy, so if someone's not ready to be styled, the styling session will also be a disaster because you are there as a stylist not to do personal shopping, but to really guide them and teach them about style and how to dress for their body shape, lifestyle, and budget, like you said. And so, so when someone gives you a gift of doing this, the client was like, well, I like my style. I don't like, they don't want to change. That was a disaster. So I typically don't do that unless it's they've already are a client of mine or they've expressed interest and they're, their sister or whatever is recommended. Anyway, so this gentleman came to me and he said, I've been referred to you, blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen, this is a very touchy subject. I don't want to hurt her feelings because what message are you giving her? And he says, no, I just want to make her feel good. So we've worked through that. But then yesterday he said, my daughter would really like to join. Can they do it together? And I said, no. I said, we can do one for the daughter, but no, because then it just becomes between them and you lose, I don't say you lose control of the situation, but the dynamic just changes. So if you're styling, don't allow friends. Maybe at the end, they can come and join. If I do style parties, I like to give them a lot of champagne in the beginning.
But yes, so one thing I was actually thinking then was don't drink with your clients. So some of my clients do like to do the lunch in the middle. Don't drink in the middle. Because I have done that one with the champagne and, I wasn't quite focusing quite as well as I should have done for the afternoon. You just want to just lie down after that. So you can have your champagne at the end, but not in the middle.
Yeah.
But we've learned from a lot of things, and it's not necessarily making mistakes. It's thinking about how a session went and thinking, when you feel it's not quite as flowing beautifully as you might want it to have done, and then you tweak it accordingly. And if you try and go into this game wanting for it to be perfect, when I've got to make sure everything's perfect and black and white and crossing the I's and whatever the T's, dotting the T's, crossing the I's, you're not going to free flow activity for the day. And that's what you need to do. So you have to think on the spot. A client, say I can style somebody from the neck down in 5 seconds. When you're dealing with the mindset of some people, I've gone out and thrown my head into a pile of shoes and gone, right, think, come on, focus, because you've just got to try and twist them and change them and manage them throughout the day, which is another skill set that people don't really quite take on board when they start styling. It's not shopping.
Oh, that's part of that like mental endurance, I think, sometimes that we need to lean on. Okay, let's answer Deanne Style. She said, what kind of jobs do you give an intern? for me personally, I don't really like my interns to have much interaction with the clients. In fact, zero if I can avoid it, because unless they're super trained, but then they wouldn't be your intern, they would be your assistant. Because you can't afford and you cannot afford to have anything go wrong between your intern and your client. So interns for me kind of do simple returns, not even complicated returns, because I've already had some interns do that, and then they don't count all the pieces, especially if you're doing a big return, and then something, you know, the person returning will miss something. And so I kind of give the most basic tasks to interns, sorting and hanging, steaming, you know, helping me prep for a client, unloading. If I take them with me to a client, I've already worked with them for a little bit, I will teach them how to dress and show up. And then we've already established a relationship of, you know, I deal with the client and maybe I'm passing close to them and they're rehanging it or organizing it or putting it away.
I think the thing is whatever intern you want, they have to reflect your brand and not, you know, when I've done academies here in London, they've been live and then everybody gets some work experience. And one thing that I have learned to do is make sure they understand the expectation of the day. You know, you do not, you know, I allow them to go out and pull stock if I feel confident that they can do it. You don't want it to distract the client though, and you've got 20 more pieces to schlep back because they've just pulled the wrong thing. And it's not about training them. So they've got to understand they've got to be there as a professional person, it's not about them and their work experience. But also, and they mustn't start Instagramming as if it was their client. So I think it's a lot of business etiquette and stylist etiquette on the day, which is the thing I think you need to make sure they understand that the expectation. I mean, I've had students who I've lost in a shop. I'm like, where the hell are they? And they're very, very slow. I'm thinking, where are they? They were meant to have changed that size. We're waiting for them. And I think a lot of people don't understand you have to be fast paced, you have to be energetic, you have to think on the spot. And I think it's a bit of a rabbit in headlights sometimes when people do that experience. But I think, yeah, business etiquette.
One thing one of the tasks we ask our students in one of the modules, I can't remember which one, I think it's module 8, is we say to them, what tasks, as you grow and you scale, what are the parts of styling you would never outsource? So as you think of developing your business, you know, that's something you can think about and decide, you know, if there's a part of what you do that you just absolutely don't like, that weighs you down, that takes energy away from you. And if someone else could do that for you, it would energize you. But I've been I don't know, Deanna and Style, where you're at in your business, if you're starting or if you're scaling, but we were just chatting about this yesterday, Isabel and I. For us, it's we're far down the road in our career, but for us, it's worth investing and paying a little more for help and assistance, because you can then rely on them more. Interns are typically young; they're trying to, you know, figure it out, and so you have to be prepared to handle a lot of things.
I mean, a lot of, I think sometimes just put them videoing you and taking photographs and then doing some reels. I mean, that is really valuable to me.
Yes. They would probably be really good at that. They're young, they have an understanding, they'll be excited. So yes, so that's a great task to make an intern do.
It's not quite one.
Any other questions, you guys? What else is going on? It is winter solstice coming up. I'm big into all of that. So we have a lot of manifesting happening tomorrow here at Kim Apodaca Inc. Do you do any solstice manifesting, Isabel?
No, I'm not really into that. You'll have to tell me. If I was in a hot country, I probably would be, but as it's going obviously into the shortest day tomorrow and it's blooming dreary, I go slightly into depression, to be fair. I'd rather be going to Florida like you.
You have to manifest the sun shining and heat.
I normally have a radiator attached to me. I've even bought my cat. I was looking for a cat heated blanket and I found one, so that's her little present.
Oh, wow.
It's
That's
interesting.
awesome.
But I'd rather be in LA, dealing with heat at Christmas. Oh my God, how amazing would that be? I'm not a cold person or weather person.
Well, I
Oh, okay.
wouldn't say it's hot, but it's sunny.
Is
It's
it?
cold.
Okay.
I mean, it's cold for us. It's like 50 degrees. I don't know, 10 degrees Celsius, 12 degrees Celsius. But it's not freezing. What else is there? Who needs help with client acquisition? Who needs help with, are you guys all niching down? Do you find that you're trying to promote your business and no one is connected to it? No one's reaching out, no one's DMing you. If that's the case, you need to niche down and be more specific with who you're styling. Yes, you can style everybody, but you can style everybody if you take it on a course. I don't know if you can style
Well, I
everybody.
think it's focusing on styling a niche group rather than thinking about everybody. And we had some questions from our students because we're ending the year and we're thinking 2023. And one thing I keep saying, and you're a great one with the planning books and everything, it's a really great time to write it down, but not write down what you're going to do next week. Write down what you're doing in 6 months' time. You have to plan today for 6 months, not today for next week, because I think then we're on the back foot. So we all have all these great resolutions for New Year, and I love New Year to start trying it all again. But one thing you said the other day was if you keep doing the same thing, you'll get the same results, and that really, and try a different tack to get a different result and to get that upscale. And don't be afraid to take on an assistant or somebody else to speculate, to accumulate, to just take that leap of faith. But you have to invest a little money or capital in that, in a team to get you to that level. You can't do everything on your own.
No, absolutely. For the way that I strategize is I think to myself, where am I earning the most money? So for some of you, it might be certain packages, might be your virtual styling packages, it might be your in-person styling packages. And then how can you best use you to create more business, right? So if you need to sit down and write those those letters to your clients, if you need time to create looks and billing is taking away a lot of your time, then maybe it's something to consider to pay that person, $50 a week to do your billing so that you can go and generate another $500 of income that week. So that's, a way to sit and think about how to use your time more effectively and how to generate more income for you. Speaking of planners, yes, I love planners. I have 3 planners I recommend. So if anybody here is into sort of strategizing for 2023, I love the Best Self journal. The Best Self, let's see my mic show. Sorry, I have got bags everywhere. I have like squishy bags here. This one, the Best Self journal. Love this. It's a daily planner. This is what I'm currently using, and it's 13 weeks. So you can start at any time in the year. You get like this laminated 13-week thing, and you can kind of like, it makes you think big and then all the way down to each day. So I love that strategy even for the year and 5 years and 10 years. So every year during my holiday, I will sit and I will think, am I on track for my 10-year plan? What do I need to tweak in the next 5 years? And then really focus on the next year, what I need to do. We tend to overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we underestimate what we can do in 5 years. So try not to put too many goals and too many things you want to accomplish in 1 year, but try and do, 5 or 6 major big steps and really hit them. So that's really key. If you can, instead of having 20 and you kind of just hit 2 because you're focusing on 20 goals, that's when you really start to see an impact and change. So that would be my big advice while trying to plan for the next year. Ooh, hi Stephanie.
And so, on a more important note, Kim, what are you wearing for Christmas? You got some Christmas
Oh
outfits?
my gosh. Well, I have not thought about that because I'm leaving on Friday. I'll be packing Friday morning because us
Yes.
stylists need us, another one of us, to take care of ourselves. But
Mm.
it's summer, where it's very warm where I'm going, so it will most likely be a dress that makes me happy. I have a Derek
Mm.
Lamb fuchsia dress that I've made out of like a silk organza, which is super festive. So
Sounds
maybe I'll wear
great.
that one. Yeah, maybe. You'll see me in bright colors. Everyone else probably will be wearing shorts around me. What are you wearing?
Well, again, I haven't quite organised it. You can see I've got quite a bit of sparkle here. I do love a bit of
Sparkle.
sparkle. I've got this fabulous dress,
Oh, I love
not
that.
massively bra friendly, from Rebecca Valance, but I do love it. I'm into more short dresses, but what we're trying to do is look for a bit of a sleeve on everything because you can't go cold. So I have this sort of very Balmain looking sequin jacket here, which I absolutely love. Just throw that over.
That's
See, it looks so plain now, but pop that over the top and then suddenly it looks something interesting. Um, it's
because
just
it's reflecting
reflective, it's
light,
better
you
on the
see.
skin.
I think that's module 2. We talk about fabrics
That's true.
reflecting and refracting.
And, just even something like this, it's just a Zara piece, a little bit of bronzy gold, but don't just put it
Cute.
with black. Think about putting it even with white, and really just lifting that bronze to make it look a little bit fresher. But yeah,
I was just in Zara yesterday because my teenager wanted to go get a sleeveless
okay.
vest puffer. And I was very tight schedule, but I was like going, ooh, 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 ooh. There were so many. They have a really good collection right now. I think the holiday
That's
collection
good
is
fun,
always
isn't it?
fabulous.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I love Rebecca Valance. I actually dressed a client for the
Yeah,
Emmys
she's got
in
some really
Rebecca
feminine
Valance. So
looks, and I'm
it's a good.
loving Rotate at the moment because they have got such quirky. I love the shoulder line on them, and they're just something a little bit different. So I'm really looking for a few different, slightly more boutique brands. I am a little bit of a fan of
Yeah, I love.
Nadine Marabi because she's very, very feminine, very, very sparkly. That's where I got my white pajamas from with the feather edge for my bridal look. And I just think just have fun. Sequins are such a fun way of just lifting even black because you see I've put that back on and it's a little bit more reflective. Um, and that's what we do in winter here.
I love to try to get the clients to buy something with a bit of sparkle in the holidays. And
Mm.
typically it's in white or black, so it's less, not everybody's into a lot of flash here, but it's a great way to just take any outfit and turn it into a nighttime outfit or something with a little bit of excitement throughout the year. So this is the time to try to convince the client to just add it as a layer in their closet. Um, Time is almost up for us. One last question from DNN Style again. I'm working on niching more next year. Yes, that is the key to success, girl. Removing my small individual packages, shop closet looks, and offering the bundle of 3 instead, as well as travel and photo shoot styling. Yes, we teach this in our course. You can have different packages, but it's really important that you're marketing one, right? One or two, so that you're really focused on getting that client and try to have, two that are different price points. So sometimes it's an entry level experience, or it's that big package, all the 3 steps in it. Once you have the client and they're like, I want more, that's when you can say, listen, I offer these services a la carte, travel, special events, all those sorts of things. But if someone goes on your website and there's a travel package and there's the closet edit and then there's the shopping package and then there's all of the 3, it's too overwhelming and clients they have decision fatigue. So if they know this is how they get to you, they have 2 choices or even one, then that's the way that we have found to be more successful in really establishing a client. And then you can
It's
offer
such a
them
good
all
point
the
you
other
just
things.
made there. Decision fatigue. There's so much out there. We are bombarded, especially with Instagram, with so many choices, and you know, you can get 1,000 of the same thing. So it's trying to be a little bit unique, which is very difficult, but also, yes, being slightly more simple with your choices, but hitting the mark of people's pain points, or hitting the season at the right point. So if it is traveling, hit it at the right point, not at a point when people aren't traveling. You know what I mean? So so make it
Right.
quite seasonal with those sort of subject titled packages.
And when we say niche down, it's not just restricting your packages and being more focused. Niching down is really understanding your ideal client and giving them the package that they're craving, right? So if you're dealing with young entrepreneurs, they might be looking for the package to do their Instagram content, right? So they're not going to want to pay a hell of a lot, but maybe $300 for, you know, four or five outfits, and you have an hour photo shoot. That's something that is niche-y. You are speaking to a certain kind of market. They're going to want that and sign up for 12 months, and then they get a discount, right? That's your entry to your ideal client. That's when we talk about niching down. Or if you're dealing with young moms, understand for young moms, they want to save time and they want to feel like themselves again. So you want to offer packages that speak to your ideal client. That's what niching down is.
Well said.
More on that. Join us. We are only hosting 2 elite styling courses this year. We usually do 3. In 2023, but this year we're doing 2. We're going to be doing one in February and then one in September. So don't miss it. If this is something you want to do, DM us, reach out to Glam Hive. It is I think,
yes,
and I'm very proud of it. We're very proud of it. We've heard every year people tell us the same thing. It's an incredible experience. You go on your own personal transformation.
Stephanie's
Believe
just
it or
verified
not,
it.
and you establish. Yes, so Stephanie is a mom of 4. She had her baby mid-course, and she still didn't miss her classes. So that's not a good testament to what we do. Thank you, Steph, for that.
I'm going to have to go because my phone is going down. I don't know whether I've gone on dark mode now, but just to let you know, my phone is on 5% and I can't find my wire.
And we have Zoom that both of us have to hop onto. So goodbye, everybody. Have a killer week. If we don't see you or reach out to you before Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's day 2 of Hanukkah for those celebrating Hanukkah. May you all just really ground yourself, have gratitude, enjoy your time with your family, and start manifesting. Tomorrow is winter solstice. Manifest 2023 in detail. Feel the emotion, feel the success, smell it, visualize what you're wearing. Let's do another live from Florida just before the new year is. And if you have, save them for us.
Thanks for watching.
All right. Thanks for watching the Kim and Isabel Show. Bye.